There are three other metrics that can be useful to gaining insight into how the supply chain is operating. They include 1. The amount of money invested in inventory, 2. Inventory turnover, and 3. Weeks of supply. Let's take a closer look at these with some examples. The first metric is capturing the amount of money that is tied up in inventory, and it is often expressed as a percentage of total assets. Here we have a company that has a total of $11.4 billion invested in inventory and $44.4 billion in total assets. The percent invested in inventory is thus approximately 25.7%. Generally, a lower percentage is considered better because the thinking is that the money that is tied up in inventory could be put to other more important uses. So, is 25.7% good? It's hard to say without knowing more and having something to compare it to. Here we have some averages and exceptional performance for inventory investments. Notice how wide the percentages vary from different industry types. It also appears that our last example was Home Depot in the retail sector. And notice that in the retail sector, Home Depot is considered exceptional. Why do you think the percentages are so high for retail and so low for restaurants? The second metric, inventory turnover, measures how many times we have to, quote, refresh our inventory within a year. It is calculated as the cost of goods sold, or COGS, divided by the inventory investment. Both of these numbers should be in dollars, so we end up with a unitless metric. Here are some examples of annual inventory turnover numbers across different industries. Why do you think McDonald's is so much larger than Home Depot? If you can answer that question, then you are well on your way to understanding the concepts of these metrics. Let's take a look at an example of calculating the annual inventory turnover. We need the COGS and the total inventory investment figures to make the calculation. This fake balance sheet, if you can call it that, is probably in millions of dollars. So COGS divided by inventory investment gives us an annual inventory investment of approximately 8.4. That means the inventory turns over or refreshes about 8.4 times during the year. We can also use this data to calculate the final metric called weeks of supply. In essence, weeks of supply is saying, quote, if we stop producing, how many weeks would it take before we run out of product? The book first has you calculate the average COGS, the weekly average COGS, and then use that number as a divisor in this particular formula. The result for this example is approximately 6.19 weeks of supply. There is another way to make this same calculation. You know how many turns of inventory you have in the year. It was 8.4. Simply divide the number of weeks in a year, 52, by the inventory turns. Do you get the same number for weeks of supply? With that, we finish up Chapter 11, Supply Chain Management.